In this video, we're going to be talking about the most technical circuit on the Formula One calendar. We're going to have a look at it on the whiteboard together, and then we're going to do a fast lap together on the sim as well. If you're interested in what my thoughts are and how to master this circuit, definitely keep watching. For those of you new to my channel, my name is Martin and I started racing when I was 12. In the sim world, I've raced and beaten some of the best drivers in Australia. I worked as a driver and performance engineer in Formula 3, and I developed my own race strategy simulation software for Formula 1. I raced in KZ2 at the highest level and got pole position in my first ever race. I specialize in the open formula category and now have my own course and website where I can share my 20 plus years of driving experience with you, which I'll put a link to in the description below. Okay, so the most technical circuit on the Formula One calendar, in my opinion. Now, you guys know I have my corners program. It's the 7 technical corners, and Japan actually features quite a lot of these corners. The one thing about Suzuka, though, it doesn't feature any like long corners of constant radius, which is like typical in Hungary, Netherlands, the one in Qatar as well. So it doesn't feature any of those, but it does have the other subset and many of them. The 4 technical corners on the other side, excluding the long corners. So that's S's, chicanes, hairpins, and plenty of double apex corners. So the thing with double apex corners is you just need to make sure the car's nice and settled in the middle of the corner. That's one of the most important phases because it's like the exit of the first is the entry to the second. So those two have to gel and you have to blend those in to make it like one corner. So let's draw on the whiteboard and have a look together and just call out a few different things, like maybe how you would want to set up the car, what things we're looking out for, and here we go. So it's very twisty. So you've obviously got the S's through here. You've got high speed corners here. You've got the hairpins, so traction is important. A fully loaded double apex and then a chicane to sort of end the lap thereafter. So if we just look at it from that standpoint, it's relatively high downforce. I wouldn't give so much consideration down to this straight. I'm leaning more towards high downforce, a little bit like Imola in a way. Okay, so let's have a look. So we've got the start finish line here. We're straight into a double apex corner, turns 1 and 2. That is, you do need to hit the first, and it is in a way an approach into the second. It's kind of a cross between a double apex and a decreasing radius corner because you're turning and braking at the same time as you fly through this double apex. And a lot of people might say, turn 1, it's easy flat and it's not really a corner. And anytime you hear that, I feel like the acid test for that is, would it be flat in the wet? And the answer would be probably not. So that's why it's a corner. So we've got the double apex here. So again, brake balance probably goes rearwards into here because you're turning and braking at the same time. You don't want to lock up that left front tire, that right front tire, sorry, which is this one here. You don't want to lock that one up. So, and you do want a bit of extra help in terms of unloading the range's rotation through turn 2. So that's what I do. I put the brake balance back into there if I can. And then we start the S's. Now the key with S's is just to make sure all of the corners are always open. So what that means is you come through here, just make sure that that's open, and then you mid-track here and this one's open, mid-track, 5 is open, and always kind of stay mid-track so that they're all always open. What you don't want to do is exit one of them like hard up against the inside and, you know, keep yourself too tight for the entry to the next one. So like if you come through here and you find yourself stuck here, or you come through 4 and you find yourself stuck here at the apex of 5, for example, you just want to make sure they're always open, always available, and you can carry speed into all of them. Now, an interesting thing about S's by definition, by my definition, is that S's generally get longer and slower and tighter as you go through. So as you can see here, you see the first one, it's like shallow, and then it gets a bit wider, and then they get a little bit longer as well. So as you go through, they actually become more important because the corners get longer, but it leads into you in an easier way. So 3 is the easiest one, and there's not as much time in 3 as there would be in 7, for example. So you can see that one, maybe it's a downshift, but it's the quickest one. And then 6 and 7 are the long ones. They're the really important ones. So just thought I'd call that out. So we've already got the double apex corner and we've got S's happening as well. So after that, you've got the famous Degner 1 and Degner 2. Again, a double apex corner. in a way as well. Like we're stretching the definition for double apex here, but it is if you combine that you hit the first part and it feeds you straight into the second part. So there's not much to say about that other than just avoid the wall over here and just take it easy. It's always good to not steer too much into this corner and just, keep the car settled on the braking into turn 9, the right-hander. Now this is where it gets really interesting, because even though this is a hairpin and you would think like you need to put brake balance forward, there's like a curvature through here. So you're braking and turning at the same time. So I like to leave the brake balance backwards, or maybe put it one click back as well, because again, the right front is a problem into here, that one you can easily lock up. And you do want to turn in slightly later than usual here, just because you're going to get a good exit through turn 12 and on the way out into Spoon. So it's important to get the good exit, get the steering wheel straight, manage your traction, short shift if you need to, all that jazz. So then you come flat through here, and then we've got the famous Spoon curve. Now this is really tricky. It is another example of a double apex, but the track is quite narrow through here as well. So it doesn't allow you to be so creative with the racing line. So therefore you're on the extreme edges of the track on the way in, and that you've got to be mindful, by the way, of the grass over here. And then you just want to, like I said at the start of the video, just let the car settle and have a nice flat, stable platform to enter the second Egner. And then nice and patient on the throttle, because a clean exit is a good exit down the back straight. That's what you're looking for. Now the brake balance goes forward 1 or 2 clicks because you've got the final chicane here. And with the chicanes, it's just important that you connect in with the curbs in the right way as well. So that's something I want to show you in the slow lap. We're going to go around and have a look at that together. And you just want to feel them out on the slow lap and just feel, are they rough? Are they smooth? Are they, compliant? Do you need to set the car up in a certain way to ride them? And yeah, it's also important you get through here quickly, because you've got the run onto the pit straight and the DRS as well. So let's go out now on the slow lap and just have a look and feel around the track a little bit together. All right, here we go. So they're chucking us into the final chicane. So straight away, you want to have a look at this curve and say, is it usable? And yes, it very much is. You've just got to mind those bollards there. And the second one, is it usable? Yes, it looks to be no problem at all. So there's none of those like orange high curbs that are preventing you from using as much as possible. So the pit lane entry is over there. Make sure you want to check that out. And shortest run to the line will be down here, by the way. So just in case in qualifying you want to try and steal a few extra meters, and that's what you're going to do. Tearing down the pit straight here, it's a bit bumpy. It's one of the first things I notice, but that's fine. There's not much you can do about that. Pit lane exit, where it feeds you out here, there's like a clash. The two of you are going to meet here in the middle, and you can see I'm turning here and braking at the same time as you downshift. So there's a lot of things happening, and this is the important one. Turn 1's not that important, but turn 2 is really the most important as you come through that double apex. Now you've got the S's, and you can see that this one's the fastest one, and I try to avoid curbs in S's, but there's a little bump that you go over there as well, so it does unload the car a little bit, and you are climbing uphill, so maybe there's more grip here than if it was going downhill. You see it's in cambered uphill, which is perfect. But again, you come over a little crest here before this one, which is the second last long one of the S's. And now it starts to go downhill. So naturally traction is going to be a problem towards the end of the stint, because it goes downhill into this little dip. And now you've got the grip back. But again, it just struggles with traction and understeer through this long corner. It's the longest one of the S's. Then you finally get to the top of the hill, and if you've made it up to here, it's happy days, and you've got Degner 1 and 2. So you just want the left front as close to the paint as possible here, and not too much curb, just a little bit. And then you can use this, at least in the sim, but you do want to be braking as close as possible here to the grass, and then turn in and just clip that one there. And then again, traction is a problem here, but there's a piece of tarmac just there which you can use, which is going to help you. And now brake balance goes backwards into this corner, because this is the hairpin where you're turning and braking at the same time. So you really want to try to just lock the steering wheel straight if you can, and brake into this hairpin. You can see it's slightly banked in camber. I like to try to miss it slightly, and then that would be perfect if you could do that. And then just use the curb on the way out. It's going to help stabilize the car. And then shortest run down to Spoon curve. And you can see how much elevation we're going down. Now we're going up. Got long curbs. And this is Spoon. So like I said, it's a narrow piece of track and the grass really is your defining limit here. So you've got to make sure your right rear is not on the grass here. You pitch it into Spoon 1. And similar to turn 1 and 2, that's really the approach for the second part of Spoon, which is the more important part of Spoon, where you want the car in early and settled, and then you want to power out and soak up all of this curb on the exit as well. And if you get a good run, it's going to feel amazing when you come over here. Again, it's really bumpy on the back straight. And this is where, like, if you had to be selective about your downforce, you could pick you know, to optimize for this straight, but I don't think it's worth it because there's too many S's and high speed corners. So I'd definitely go for more downforce. And here's a really interesting point. Do you come in on the diagonal or do you make an effort to come across like that and then brake? I come in slightly on the diagonal because I'm quite comfortable with diagonal braking. But the really important part here is that you trail off the brake and start to turn into this corner at the same time, and then just try to get both these curbs as well. Be careful of traction because you're coming over a bit of a dip and then it goes downhill. And like I said before, shortest run to the line will be through here. All right, let's go at full speed now and see how we get on. So there you go, guys. If you have any questions, comments about the Suzuka circuit or how to take any of the corners or how to set the car up for these corners, leave them in the comments below. And if you like the style of this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel as well. Cheers.